Well, did a video on Hitman 1's special locations about how I feel like it as a, well, gameplay locations, how fun I found those stages to be, and it's in two criteria of how credible the locations feel and how fun they are. I did not pay anything attention to anything bigger, but there's in total 8 locations in Hitman 2. Hawke's Bay, a prologue stage Hawke's Bay, and then the main stage is Miami, Colombia, India, USA, and North Atlantic main location, and of course 2 DLC locations, so in New York and Maldives, and they all follow a different theme of location. So, but it's time to start with, of course, the first one and continue to the next ones as they come along. I can just do a walkthrough of the location much better, and I do say that this feels very real location, as in it's a big house on the beach, all that. There's also an indoor swimming pool, but the weather appears to be quite cool in sense that maybe not that kind of level of warm place, but and then when you look at the interiors, there's all these real big television screens, video cameras watching plays around, and so big windows because it's a big house, big fancy house, so a private space. So of course there can be big.
The house is equipped with multiple cameras.
Big windows.
Around the perimeter.
Yeah.
I suggest you get rid of them, 47.
And of course 47 does the burglary, and this is a interesting little set piece to make it much more basically sinister location.
I see them. Poor bastards. Looks like Reynard's
So yeah, giving the hint that this is not just a regular Hitman location. This is a used for very nasty purposes private location, which of course is quite fitting with the large context of Hitman games as well, to have these kind of creepy, unpleasant locations. But once the Agent 47 is done looting all the places, stealing knives, stealing guns, stealing some stealing some soup, and stealing some rat poisons, it's time to walk to the actual house, which does have this kind of real large space in between, but when you actually look about it, how the interior goes, there's all these little notes.
Looks like research report.
This house really does not feel like it would be somebody's home. It feels much more about as in it is a safe house, a place where some sort of nefarious characters spend time hiding out, not actually living there. If there's actually anybody living in this place, they most likely do not spend any time here, because the house, as the makers decorated it, having absolute control of it, does not have any kind of, you could say, traits of a real house. Not even something that occupants are not present at this moment. It's very ornamentation. Well, the big television screen is something, but the ornaments feel very impersonal. There's basically nothing of that a real person who actually uses the place for anything actual living, even momentary living, does not leave behind. There's nothing human in this building, and of course this location just makes it even more obvious. Terroristic plans, all this kind of secret thingamajiggeries and all that.
There's nothing we can do about it now.
Oh yeah, there's the password dongle, the lockpicks. Well, let's just prepare to make a little bit of unpleasant surprise by dropping the kaboomy rubber duck right here. Actually, no. let's drop it right here as well, and just get ready to blow it up. Because this house, it feels very realistic in the sense that it would be some sort of criminal safe house where nobody actually lives. It's just there, doing nothing, in the middle of nowhere. So, but let's just put this computer search.
Detecting movement up the road.
Skip this one. Hawks Bay. Building which doesn't actually be a building at all. Going for the next one. Now, I don't know when it's a matter of Miami stage with Agent 47 appearing dazzling with his sunglasses, especially knowing that the weather would make it and location would make them plausible. But I really don't know how much of a, you could say, how consciously IO Interactive pays attention to the to fact that you have to get the game open with a really good stage. But this one certainly does have that effect, because Miami stage is absolutely magnificent with all the. It's got such a nice big amount of details. It's this racing situation, of course, giving all kinds of interesting little tidbits and time frame that it could handle. There's all kinds of extra secret exits in this stage, including one very hilarious one. And of course there's this one guy, and of course there's all kinds of little thingamajiggeries that Agent 47 can do, like decide that that guy is to be murdered, make the generator turn on just out of spite to show that one little of all kinds of murders mayhem Agent 47 can do in this mission. Yeah, knock the guy out. Put the guy to the chipping machine, which is got something. And then while you're at it, steal his clothes and turn it on, fertilize the place. Yeah, that's Agent 47's brutal brand of doing things. But when you actually look more of these stages, interesting little details, there's lots of them. Of course, the fact that it's in Miami, meaning there's also the hilariously, once Agent 47 reaches that place, there's also the hilarious local Florida man, who is not actually, who is actually a sort of like an internet meme of something, all kind of world's worst superhero doing all kinds of idiotic achievements or idiotic exploits, however you wanna call it. But this stage has, stage kind of, you could say, downplays the wacky and just weird, but not, you could say, unusually bizarre weird level of weird, just regular level weird, which I do find to be quite humorous in by itself. As much as you can say about all the locations this stage has, it doesn't so much. It feels very credible as well, with all the things there is. There's this racetrack with all the big car parking lots, and of course all the people and all that stuff around here as well. And of course then there's backstage areas with cleaners and all that kind of things happening around that Agent 47 can murder using the contracts modes, so however you wanna do it. And of course then there's this silly guy mascot going on as well.
Yeah, after the race. I just gotta pick up the documents from my van, but
let's just not beat him up to a pulp, even though having the mascot outfit makes it the most hilarious exit ever, because apparently because well, nobody told Agent 47 he can't fly by flapping his hands. And that guy is of course more or less like an obvious setup for a disguise that you can get yourself. Well, but still going for checking out the other locations in this place, which of course include this medical tent area, which has lots of interesting, which has of course opens one in the main mission, opens one extra gruesome way of causing death, and actually two different ways, either by Agent 47 himself or by somebody else being unpleasant, and no reason to make a run in the security booth area. And of course, because of it's a racing contest going on, there are these garages. I think the word garage is appropriate to use in this context. Let's just get caught by the camera as well, just out of hilarity. And of course I could blow it up with a keycard hacker device, which is really handy item to have, but no reason to. And it gets to trespass to the hangar area as well, just to see that all these little stables running with their own equipment gear, which make the situation much more interesting, and whack him as well, just in case, so I can run around a bit more in this locale, trying to show it off a little bit more. Well, stealing his clothes as well, not because I need to, just because I want to. And there's all these little side rooms and all that. All these little maintenance areas do feel quite believable in that sense. And of course, with all these little interesting little detail locations about garage areas, medical treatment areas, security rooms, parking lots, and all that, it is time to actually walk away from the place using the quite unusual, not the most humorous exit of the game, of the stage, but still quite humorous exit by going out of the sewer. And final score is at the screen, and time to end this one right here. Well, Agent 47 in a Colombian back street bar, near American tattoo artist who is very spooked. But Colombia stage, Santa Fortuna, and it's also one of the, you could say, not actual real locations, but you could say it's realistic location, being a small Colombian little village or town, which is completely dominated by this huge drug cartel, which has a big mansion right there, and there's also the fact that the drug cartel is running drug dealing operations here as well. And of course it's very obvious that to whom this Colombian drug lords operation actually pays, you could say, some kind of tribute, because well, the guy who actually on whom this cartel headquarters base is actually based on, he was quite colorful in things what he achieved. But the main stage is basically a village half with all these little huts and closed doors and all that, and then there's the drug cartel's mansion, which has completely different styling, because it's a big mansion yard instead of a derelict, barely functioning town. It's this big mansion, or hacienda, however you wanna call it, which is completely different in style. Let's just knock inside to get door that wide. why would...
One in? Alright, one second.
Oh yeah, and of course Agent 47 is fluent in Spanish. And why in hell would those guys let live in a guy whose ghosts looked like they were soaking in jungle water for several hours, maybe even days? But it doesn't matter. Agent 47 is here to cause damage, make mayhem, all that. And these mansion yards are completely different when compared to tempered South American professional hardened drug cartel killer criminal. Which of course make things completely different, that you can't just do things like normal in this place. And of course, well, there's the hippopotamus, but unlike the real person who had several hippopotami, this one,
it's fine, it's fine. I'm a professional.
the fake one doesn't has just...
I just gotta find...
So let's just throw that guy with a knife to the head
Guards.
and knock him out as well, just because hey, Agent 47 is here about to do some bloody murder, and then just steal his clothes just in case, because the main locations have been shown, and throw him off the hippo and steal that guy's clothes as well, but just to get the fresh disguise from him, and throw him into the cannibalistic man-eating hippopotamus as well, which actually feels like it would be laughing. And of course, because it's a drug mansion's location, there's also there's also the underwater or undersea tour tunnels part where there's all the secret drug smuggling submarine can be used, but that place is visually quite uninteresting. So it's time to actually waltz right into the cocaine fields, where of course they farm cocaine and run away, showing the third primary big location. And smash the camera as well. And the final scores is about to be tallied during this moment, once the Agent 47 prepares to leave this location in style. And India, the Mumbai stage. The stage I would find personally be one of, you could say it is a very good stage, being extremely realistic, or real feeling, being near the slums of very big city in India. And because of it's so realistic in that sense, it's also, I would say, perhaps the worst stage of Hitman 2, because it just doesn't feel fun. It lacks all the, well, I would call them the hallmarks of really good fun design parts that, well, games should have. The stage is, well, it works. There's no denying that it does have functional things. Like the fact that, well, like the fact that I just destroyed the camera. But the stage itself, having this big movie set building, is quite, well, it works. It gives a nice contrast, being a movie set with verticality and all that. It gives it interesting details and a slight puzzle to get inside to this fortress part, and then there's the train yard with the other fortress part. But the general you could say the apartment block building, which doesn't play so big role in this gameplay part, but it does play in the alternate version quite a lot, is real unpleasant. It's cluttered, it's messy, and it's got these extra enforcers which are kind of which are real painful to deal with. And I haven't even gone to the worst area of the stage, which is the slum part, where there's where the streets are maze like that. It's gonna be a complete mess, anyways. But now with the humorous things, let's just mark that guy. Knock him out, just because I wanna be the Kashmirian. He's basically he's a local assassin and all that. So let's just make sure that he is no longer a local assassin, but he's now a local corpse. Oh. For some reason, naked man fell off the balcony, real limp. But the Mumbai stage is, design standpoints, it's basically it's a weird crossroads part of being absolutely completely credible location, as that's in that kind of sense being a complete unpleasant shithole of a level with all the small drama and slum dictatorships going around. But the stage, supposed to say the stage, but that doesn't loan well to the, you could say, to the make a gameplay fun. Of course the main missions part, the fact that you have to dig out the move in strict order of killing just maybe one or maybe of the other targets before you can then go out to actually get the third target. Really, it's really quite annoying. So I'm just gonna leave the stage right here as Kashmirian, because the stage is quite unpleasant to go through at all. And with this very unflattering final score is given out as well once the Agent 47 leaves the very dirty Mumbai away. Oh. Yeah, like this. Yeah, not a great stage at all. And so the Sage of 47 arrived to suburb in Vermont, and as much as I can say about looking at a few images from Google Maps, this is actually looks very much like some sort of summary location in Vermont suburb could look like. It's absolutely, completely very credible, just like in a sense that the Mumbai stages are also credible, but you could say in those stages the credibility hampers the gameplay and feel of the place, making it less fun. But in this case it actually amplifies it, that the weird location makes the game actually bit over the state. The location becomes much more fun. And it's of course because of the stage being, well, it's a bit of a, and it's interesting little detail in design is the fact that the area with all that kind of thingamajiggers around, the game designers really went to the emphasis of placing that, showing that this beneath the set that there might be appearing in this kind of location with especially with the murder cellar. I might be actually decide to pay a visit. Actually, I think I do exactly that. I'm gonna go and brutally use the Age of 47's brutal murder method and finish up the thing, getting off the blueberry muffins, stealing the old lady's custom handgun. Yeah, American suburb and somebody having a gun in their home is not the unexpected thing. And of course stealing the keys as well. All kinds of little details that you can do, but in this fancy house. But let's just go to the most important holy location in any person's actual home, and just observe the complete horrifyingness of it with this little, well, actually nah, let's just drag the old hag west right there.
Okay.
Now goes down. Agent 47 has no problems dragging out, beating out, strangling old women, because if his job is to murder them, but just dragging her earthly remains to the cellar. And while I'm at it, marking her as somebody that, yep, she's to be died. Brings to this little gruesome location with all these incinerators and all those little nice unpleasant details, like putting her back there, stealing some drugs, and of course roasting her in her own body disposing incinerator because of her murderous little manners are a bit part of the stage's, you could say, gimmick or plot. But now when I do the other spin of the around the area, there's this, well, construction work area, which gives a bit of other kind of little things. And then there's of course all these other houses that even the main mission means that hey, you want to actually explore all these interesting little houses we modeled right up there, just to show all the depravity happening right beneath the surfaces. And no, the spy master Janus is not the worst case of depravity in this place, because it was actually Helen herself, who is the worst, or let's say the most depraved person in this place. And they even have placed some sort of humorous commentary about all those locations that other inhabitants are suspicious of these new people moving in, because they don't seem to have any kind of income, and or say even any kind of income to their location. So as a realism of this location is actually, in positive sense, is very good in this plan. So of course, IO decided to make two unrealistic locations, and they actually succeeded in doing it very well, in good sense as well. But it's time to actually open up the sewage and leave the stage right here, and with a final score coming up at the screen once Agent 47 just goes to sewer with his white fancy suit. And Isle of Scale, the final location of the Hitman 2, is much more, you would say, much more dramatic location than the Hokkaido of the of Hitman first season, but it still has the, you could say, the slight amount of same problem as, well, it's as in the first stage, as in stage of Hitman 1, final stage of Hitman itself, being a bit of an annoying gimmick stage. But there's not much wrong to say about this. It does, they specifically want to make a, because this kind of over the top, unreal, gloriously depraved, yet basically also almost parodic little take on this kind of secret society of rich people, because it's just so, you could say, it's pointless in sense that what kind of things there are in this stage. There's nothing really impressive anywhere. Well, the location itself is impressive, there's no denying that. Nice looking architecture and all that. But the characters themselves are very boring and mundane. And that guy is now marked to be a target. So let's just drag him off to the edge, so I can then actually make it so that it's a matter of, you could say, intricate in by making all these guards have these ballroom masks, which don't, in that kind of sense, really not that actually effective, And then there's all these castle keep locations with all the fancier guards and gate yards, helicopters, all kind of this kind of rich secret society nonsense that you would expect that kind of location to have, and nobody would pay any attention to. Well, mostly nobody does pay any attention to that kind of thingamajiggeries. It's a fancy, over the top location on purpose. So it's time to actually just time to leave this location right here. Yeah, you see me being a crook, and guess what? I am leaving this place right already to this pit, because location is not that good with the final score on screen as well. Now, New York is an interesting stage. I personally feel that this is, you could say, Hitman 2 basically has the best and worst stages of the original World of Assassination. I would say that because it has the worst stage, but it also has a very good stages as well. And this is also one of the, you could say, of the really good ones. Fun. This one is really fun, interesting, and also it has also matters of being exciting. So let's just turn on the photocopier so I can loot that guy's mission has two objectives. Of course, the fact that you have to steal stuff, or better say,
Off you go.
do the Agent 47 regular method of murdering, but then there's also the fact that there's also this bank robbery thing that gives this game a bit more, you could say, excitement into it. I think quite a lot more excitement to this game. Well, let's not go there yet. Let's just do a little bit of a trick first by using all the put on the safety lock on. We should leave the fact that guy in the vault gets upset, then he comes up, then he comes in here, goes to close it down. We need Agent 47 can ambush him, and all that kind of handy little Agent 47 methodology that he's making use of. Because Agent 47 works in systematic manner. The fact that this room is the computer guy's room, so of course then there's two network experts who look very silly dressing, which I do find to be a bit of quite a humorous thing. That maybe the fact that because they're so important to this job, and basically their job is to just be hidden in some sort of cellar location until they are needed, their dress code is actually completely different. I would find that kind of both credible and humorous at the same time. So, but just to make sure that the Agent 47 actually does something. Well, yeah, no, there was stuff in here. Open up this one. Get the chloroform stuff out. Put on these so the guy. Oh, made a bit mistake with the guy summoning that guy over there to well, but he goes to the laundry box. because that's where Age of 47 has a habit of putting people and things. And of course the fact that there's a camera here, which Age of 47 breaks apart, because that's what he does. He has habit of destroying things. And knock him out as well, just in case. And open the box, just to check out that this real nice bank vault, complicated as it is quite realistic in that sense, because it's complicated structure to build. And of course all the main runaway doors. Nothing really you could say unusual you could expect from a big fancy bank building like this. And suffice to say that the fact that I'm touring it quite thoroughly should tell that how actually enjoyable enjoyable this stage is, with all the small drama moments and all that kind of things as well.
I don't know you, and I am a real bodyguard. I see right through that.
Like God, getting a bit suspicious again, but I ran right past him.
Poor guy.
And of course there's also these employee little side rooms, which, well, they basically don't add much to the gameplay, but they do add to the story of the location. I do like that when the game makes locations that tell a story of some kind, that they have a tale, a meaning to why some things are in the game or why they are not in the game. But you can't always be completely certain about how well all these little locations actually can actually mesh together. And then of course there's the main bad guy or main target of the location in her observe her henchman place, or however you want to call it. Open up all these little locales just to make sure that anything is actually completely good. Of the bank has been shown with all the interesting little details and stylings the stage has. There's nothing really unusual or incredible in this stage. It's just basically a big bank building that Age of 47 walks into, with all the little drama bits and lines happening at the same happening there as well, making it much more, you could say, fun gameplay wise, and also in the sense that this location itself tells a story and feels credible in that kind of sense. So it's time to already run away from the building with a quite simplistic styling as well. And well, it also feels very huge with all the something like almost 50 meters. More incredibly big this is, but it's time to end the review of the stage with the final score at the screen at the same time, with Age of 47 leaving prematurely from his job, and nobody pays any attention to that. And now the final stage of Hitman 2, the Maldives, Haven Island, which I've got. I think that they made this stage because there really hasn't been much of a, you could say, tropical stages in Hitman. There had been levels of hot climate, yes, but not so much of a, you could say, about those, you could say, really of this kind of tropical paradise type type of stage that this stage actually provides really well, because well, I did do some visual research about what kind of these kind of holiday havens look like in Maldives, and I would say that the guys at IO also did look at those images, because this place could be very much be real you could say holiday resort in Maldives by being just this kind of fancy little location. And of course Age of 47 wearing the not so unusual, well, now he's wearing the flashy shirt, and that is not as humorous as some other outfits Age of 47 can wear with extreme seriousness on his face. But the stage itself is very much in line of this tropical paradise, with all the beaches, all the huts with straw huts in it, all these tropical, almost you could say something like a Hawaiian theme, even though Maldives are very far from Hawaii style of bar. And if I remember right, Maldives was also Islamic country, so there isn't much of a alcohol things in there. But of course, seeing that how the universe works in Hitman, it might not be that far-fetched that the big secret organizations pay governments big money, so they don't look so thoroughly at what kind of things happens around these places, which of course is also quite credible to many less corrupt or possibly corrupt states or nations, however you want to call it, on this planet as well. So there's this basically holiday area with all the sporting areas as well, and of course then there's this owner or CEO's apartment building part as well, which is, well, it plays other ways as well, making the location have much more, you could say, roughness on it. And the CEO's area is of course very it's not just trespassing, it's hostile right away, so to emphasize that how strict security measures in this place actually are. They are very. And Age of 47 seemed to just slip right through those places. Nobody paid much attention to him. With all the little drama pits also going around, it's time to go to the most, you could say, implausible location of the game, or the stage, this little secretive underground server farm mess, which of course, well, I don't know how this kind of real server farms would look like, so I can't really say anything how realistic this location is, even though the holiday resort part is extremely well crafted and plausible feeling. This part of the location does not feel that credible. It's not too, you could say, too incredible either, but it's, well, gameplay demands things and realism demands other things as well. So let's just turn that off, add some deadly poison gas to the vents, put the gas system back on, and while I'm at it, let's just beat up people while I'm at it as well, and steal somebody's clothes. While I'm at it, let's just while I'm at it, let's just mark that guy to be somebody to be beaten to a pulp. Not that guy. Oh yeah, that guy. Now let's just go. They can drag him to the deadly gas and see what happens. The stage itself feels very realistic, except this server farm part. So open it up, death. I'm prepared to completely leave the place as well without the yeah, okay.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, you guy as well. I'm gonna take your clothes as well. Just because I wanna be so certain. And with the Villa Elite Guard outfit, I can also go and show up the sport part of the area. And this stage also has some of that little, you could say, small drama. The stage should have. A good stage should have. That ain't to be. That's not nice. More poison gases. Open up this door as well to become the main bodyguard, or just the bodyguard. And leave this part behind, because well, there's the sporting area as well with the bodyguard outfit to be easily investigated. As a general sense, I would say that this, you could say, fun or interesting in the gameplay sense, because I feel that the maps that they've added at, you could say, post game are not as fun or interesting as in the main game maps, because the main game maps have to sell this place, but the DLC maps are basically there just to we just added stuff to the game, so you might like it. And that kind of thing also happens in here, even though this stage does have quite interesting amount of dramatic details and stylings as well. So let's just go and look at, well, this is the sporting area with all the people taking showers. There's cleaning up places. And of course, then there's the jet skiing location and all that as well. So this place feels credible in sense that what this kind of haven location holiday place would be if it would want to actually just look completely legit and not just a secret villain hangout club of all time. And all that kind of nonsense as there is. Yeah, all kinds of interesting little details they've added to the game. But it's time to actually tally up the score of this location in some sort of sense. And while I'm at it, oh yeah, well there's a jet ski teacher, and while I'm at it, I just prepare to. Yeah, they keep finding all these people that something's gone up there, and I don't think that they keep walking into the gas area to be executed by that thing. And the final scores come to the scale, and at this moment also end the review of the final stage of Hitman 2. There's just one game left, which doesn't have that interesting stages either. So, but I'll be seeing you in that video with the speedboat going away.